I was in the high street the other day. There was a girl there with a clipboard. She said, "Could you spare a few minutes for cancer research?" I said, "All right, but we're not going to get much done." We could pop into Boots and see if they've got anything. Are you all aware of what snowballing is, the sexual practice snowballing? Yeah. One bloke down. Who was that down there? Quite proud of that. Well done. Everyone else, none the while. OK, well, I'll explain. It says something about you. Snowballing is a sexual practice where, having administered oral sex, your partner doesn't spit or swallow so much as return to sender via a kiss. Oh, you're looking shocked and appalled as I explain that to you. Let me assure you, I found out the hard way. And it does raise an interesting moral dilemma. Should you spit or swallow? Well, if you really love yourself. So I can see some friends of mine up there, and you're explaining that to your mum. Brilliant. Oh, what a brilliant day out that will be. What a lovely drive home. So this snowballing thing. Marvellous. Are there any Catholics in, by any chance? A few up there? Oh, a few up there. I'm a lapsed Catholic. I don't know much about Catholicism, but I like some of the ideas. Very much like the idea of the confirmation. The confirmation, correct me if I'm wrong, is when you're about 12 and you meet a bishop. And he says to you, "You're definitely a Catholic." I don't know if he does that. But he says, "You're definitely a Catholic." He confirms you. You are confirmed. I think it's a very good idea. I think other religions could do with that. I think the Jews could do with that. I've got a lot of friends that are Jews, and they always say, "I'm Jewish." A new book's come out called Better Than Sex with Claire Rayner. A lot of things in that fucking category. I'm struggling to think of anything that wouldn't make the mark. I was in a bookstore last week. There was a third off all titles. Bought The Lion, the Witch. I said to the PhD English graduate, sorry, shop assistant. I said, "What's this psycho the rapist section?" She said, "I think you'll find that's pronounced psychotherapist." I don't know if you're all aware of this. Are you all aware of the fact that, that Christopher Reeve wrote a book last year? He wrote a book called Nothing is Impossible. I say he wrote it, he dictated it. It's not important. Just on the back flyleaf cover of the book, it says, "Since the accident, Christopher's never looked back." I mean, fair enough, but there's no need to rub it in, is there? I met an incredible girl on the internet. Smart, sexy, uninhibited. Of course, it turned out to be a 12-year-old paraplegic boy. I'll be honest, the sex was disappointing. Oh, I think we've reached a barrier there, haven't we? And we will laugh at that and nothing more. Well, fair enough. A couple of weeks ago, I failed to perform sexually. Well, how is that a laughing matter? A couple of weeks ago, I failed to perform sexually. I'm not going to go into details. Suffice it to say, I arrived early. My girlfriend said, "Don't worry, that happens to a lot of guys." I said, "Right, there's two things the matter with that. Firstly, who are these a lot of guys? And secondly, if it's happening to more than one of us, don't you think it could be your fault?" She says there's never an excuse to raise your hand to a woman. What if you've got a question? She says that because she's a woman, she's good at doing two things at the same time. If that's the case, why is the threesome out of the question? I was in the high street the other day. There was a girl there with a clipboard. She said, "Could you spare a few minutes for cancer research?" I said, "All right, but we're not going to get much done." We could pop into Boots and see if they've got anything. You know that disclaimer they put at the end of films? You know the one that says the characters and the events in this film are purely fictitious, any relation to real characters and events is purely coincidental? Yeah? Do they really need that on Lord of the Rings? Is anyone watching that thinking, this is a brilliant documentary? I might think about going to New Zealand on my holidays. But wait, no, I don't want it ruined by Saruman, he's Orc Army. Hello, I'm Jimmy Carr, and I don't want to impose on your day. I know you just watched a clip of me. You probably had enough of me already. But if you could like and subscribe, that would help me in some way, which I don't fully understand. I think basically if you like and subscribe, then down the line, I have a more comfortable retirement. I don't know.